As you're probably aware, I've been traveling around a bunch and living out of a backpack while I travel. So I figured in the off chance that anybody does the same thing as me, I can give a little bit of some pointers on what I've learned. So as far as living out of a backpack while you're traveling around the world and trying to work, oh, that's not, how do I go to the next slide? I don't know. Okay, so I have like a little checklist ordered by priority. First thing is make sure that I have my backpack. So if I don't have that, that would be bad. Next most important thing is my passport. If I don't have my passport, I'm not getting on the plane. Third thing is the laptop, because I need to be able to work, but it is kind of replaceable, unlike my passport. And then after that is everything else, because I can always buy those if I forget them. So clothing, toiletries, second backpack, and then entertainment. So we're going to talk about all of the things on my checklist. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. So first and foremost, when you're picking a backpack, you have to decide if you want carry-on or checked. It's actually a very important decision because that decides how much of everything else you can bring. So I am partial to carry-on backpacks, even though there's a lot of negatives. So the main negatives, probably that you have to bring it through security, which kind of sucks. You have to stress about overhead space on the plane, and you have to carry it around the airport. So if you want to go to the bathroom, you got to bring your giant stupid backpack with you everywhere. And you have less space for warm clothes. Warm clothes are really bulky. You don't actually have that much space in here, so that's kind of a problem. Alternatively, though, if you do check, then you have to sit around, wait forever for your thing to come, and then they lose your luggage. And the one time that I checked this backpack in, of course, it got lost. And then the next most important thing is actually you want a second backpack, which might not seem super intuitive, but if you're going to be living somewhere for a while and you have to go to a cafe every day and work out of that cafe, you don't want to carry this with you every single day to the cafe. So I just have this nice little backpack that I roll up. It's pretty handy. If you're planning to do carry-on, but you need to go to a check-in counter for whatever reason, like you need to ask for help, you should split your stuff into 2 bags, because otherwise they will look at this and they'll see this big second backpack kind of bulging out. And they'll be like, oh, that's way too big. And then they weigh it, and then your backpack's over the weight limit, because your backpack's always over the weight limit. And then they tell you you have to split your stuff into 2 bags. So it's better to just do it in the first place. That's what I learned after going through like a million airports. It's like, why even bother? I try and condense it, and then they make me just spread it out anyway. So the things that I typically throw in the second one are the laptop, cables, toiletries. 2 out of those 3 tend to set off security alarms, so you have to take them out of TSA anyway. So those are the easy ones. You can also strap stuff to the outside of your backpack to cheat on space. So I do that with my climbing shoes, do that with the backpack, do that with my jacket. As far as clothing, generally, I found that you can fit about a week's worth of clothing. It's the max, what you can bring for like socks, underwear, t-shirts, things like that. Then you can get maybe 2-3 pairs of jeans, depending on how you feel about re-wearing jeans. You can't bring a full week's worth of jeans though. That'll be the whole backpack. You can get 1 to 2 sweaters or jackets, and then it's like kind of your priority of portability, warmth, and stylishness. The most portable and warm ones are like the down jackets that compress super small, but I don't like the way they look, so I usually end up freezing. And then you get 1 pair of shoes, which you should be wearing. And then optionally, you know, you get other things like gloves, scarves, gym clothes, pajamas. It's kind of like, how much extra space do I have? And then what can I squeeze in there? And then as far as packing, you want to roll your clothes up. So like here would be an example. Roll it up, it takes less space than if I fold it. And then I discovered these a little while ago. I don't know if people have seen them before, but like these little compression bags. So you just roll your clothes up and then you can squish it super small. typically I have maybe about like this much clothing. I didn't bring everything, but I figured I would just give an example. This one is super nice because it's even got these strings that I can pull on to like make it even tighter. When this is full, I will just like lie on top of it on the ground and like squish it down for that extra centimeter because I need it. As far as some clothing tips, since you're only bringing like 2 outer shirts, you look the same every day and it gets really boring. It's not really a tip, that's just a fact of life. You have to watch out when you go shopping then, because you'll be like, oh man, everything looks great, right? But you can't actually afford to buy that much clothing, so you have to be careful. You can buy maybe 1 or 2 things, and then you'll be like, well, I'm like way over my limit now. Your clothing also gets worn out super fast because you're wearing it so often. So I have some sweaters that I really love, but I just can't bring them because they'll have holes by the end of the trip. And then I try to have one semi-nice outfit so that I can go to fancy settings and not be completely out of place. So I went to a wedding looking just like this, except I tucked my shirt in and I put this jacket on. And then I was like, all right, I'm ready to give a speech. So I don't know. Hopefully everybody understood. As far as toiletries, I split them into 2 bags, stuff that can explode and stuff that can't. I feel like that's like, I don't know, pretty straightforward. Definitely once you've had something explode on you, you start doing that. It probably seems like toiletries shouldn't take up that much space, but once you start adding things like medicine, Band-Aids, contact lenses for your whole trip, you have a lot of space. And the best thing that you can buy is actually a travel bag. I used to just stick all my toiletries in a plastic bag, but the plastic bag rips. It's not quite as, I don't know, this is kind of magic. You can condense a whole bunch of stuff into it. So one of the best purchases that I've found. As far as electronics, anybody that's gone through an airport with a laptop knows that you gotta pull your stupid laptop out. So don't bury it at the bottom of your backpack, which is something that I did for a very long time. It's very frustrating. A lot of these backpacks have like a camelback space that you can easily reach into. And I don't even have to unzip my backpack. And it's like the perfect size for my laptop. So I just go, whoop, pull it out, and I'm good to go, or put it in there. A lot of things look like bombs to airport x-rays. So, for example, I don't want cables just flopping all over my backpack, so I just put them all in this plastic bag. But if all the x-ray can see is this, it looks like a bomb. And you'll get stopped, and they'll take your whole backpack apart. Especially if you have like 2 or 3 of these, then you look really sketchy. Because for a while I was carrying 2 laptops around, and they're like, what in the world is in your backpack? One time I also bought a bunch of throwing knives as a souvenir, and I forgot that I bought them. And so then they scanned my backpack, and there was just like blades everywhere. And I was like, oh, wow, you found them. I didn't know where these went. And then I was like, oh, I'm probably in trouble. So fortunately, they realized I was just a moron and not a terrorist. So also, like, electronics are really heavy, bulky, don't like being bent. So if you're like trying to like squeeze stuff into your backpack, you kind of want stuff that can bend a little bit. And I don't know, I bought a Switch. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that it's not too big. As far as entertainment, like books have the same problem. They're heavy, they take up a lot of space. You read it once and then you're done. So after a couple of trips of bringing books, I try and avoid books now. Video game systems are the same thing. I brought a DS with me, I don't know, for like 2 years. Never played it. And then of course, this trip I was like, you know what, I don't need my DS. And then a week later, I was like, man, I wish I had my DS. That's how it goes. Headphones, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, if you're like a super audiophile, you might want like a pair and then you just carry it around in the airport. Most of my travel decisions are just predicated on what's convenient for me in the airport. And then board games, like I like to play board games, but obviously I can't go carrying around one of those giant boxes with me. So card games are good, but decks of cards have the same problem as wires in that they look super shady. So if I have this bag with a deck of cards in it, not like a plain deck of cards, but like more than that, it's like a Magic deck, for example, Magic the Gathering. So here I have a deck of cards from a board game that I just took out. It's not in the cardboard box. But this just looks like very suspicious blocks of metal to an X-ray detector. So I've been stopped for these two. Try and remember to pull all this stuff out, but not always. So my TLDR would be like, if you need entertainment on your trip, just use your phone. You can play games, you can read on it, you can listen to music. It's like magic. It doesn't take up any space. And so then, kind of to wrap up, it's not the end of the world to just buy something, use it for a couple weeks, and then just like throw it out, leave it behind, donate it. I don't know. When we were in Italy, the place we were staying didn't have heat, so we just went out and bought a portable heater for a couple weeks because it was better than freezing. And then it turned out they had a portable heater, so that was kind of sad. They just didn't tell us because they were mean. If you buy something you don't want to leave it behind, you can always just mail it. So I do that a lot too. It's another way you can kind of cheat on what you get to bring, what you get to take home. And then if you're planning to return to a location like San Francisco, maybe your friend has a closet that they forgot about, and you can just stay there and then throw your stuff in the closet, and they'll just never notice. And then you can come back and pick it up next time. Or like you help a friend out and you're like, hey, you should definitely move back to Japan. And they're like, okay, I'm gonna move back to Japan. And then as soon as they move back to Japan, you're like, hey, here's like 15 things I need you to hold on to for me. And then they're like, yeah, you made me move back to Japan. I'll do anything for you. So take advantage of your friends. And that's pretty much my talk.